Hello my quilting friends, my name is Leah Day and I am quilting Grapevine today. This is a very simple combination of stippling and pebbling. So it starts out with 3 pebbled shapes, just 3 circles, and then I'm going to stitch 2 circles underneath. We're kind of going for a cluster of grapes that looks kind of like the Trix cereal, the little triangle circle shape. I love that. And then we're going to wiggle off once we get that created with more stippling, and use that stippling to connect the design, to wiggle your way around it, to move from one area to another in your quilt. And it's really important to think of this as kind of a stippling style design, because that's really going to be how you move around in your quilt. That's going to be how you stitch it and fit it into areas. If you can stitch stippling into your quilt, you can definitely stitch Grapevine. So here I'm forming another shape, kind of going in this direction, and I stitched a little leaf shape here at the top, and it didn't quite turn out the right shape, so I'm going to show you how to fix that if that happens to you. So let's say you stitch something and it just doesn't come out the right time. Just go in and kind of echo around it. Make it look even more intentional, and I think it'll look a little bit better. So there we go. Now I'm going to go back to some more stippling, just wiggling around. I'm trying to keep about 1/4 inch between those lines of stitching, but it's okay if they get a little bit closer or a little bit further apart. It's no big deal. So now that we've tried this on a small scale, let's see how Grapevine works on a much bigger scale. So I'm going to get started with just a little bit of very large scale stippling. And then now let's go into our grape shape. Let's first stitch a little leaf shape. And that can be really any shape that you like. I kind of like that just traditional leaf. That looks really nice. And now this is a great design to practice pebbling or circles, because it gives us this opportunity to stitch lots of circles and to do some careful travel stitching. Now, if this is a struggle for you, of course, you have permission to make it messy. And when I mean make it messy, I mean stitch around these circles multiple times. But I'm going to really try, at least for this particular one, to stitch these clean. So here we go. Little circle right there. Slow and steady wins the race. And then now I'm going to stitch a nice big circle going this way. And remember, grapes, you know, they're not really circles so much as kind of ovals. So it's okay if they're a little bit wonky. That's a-okay. I'm actually pretty surprised. I'm travel stitching a lot better than I would have thought. So yay. It's always nice when you can surprise yourself and notice that your stitching is improving, and I think that's really down to just doing a lot more free motion quilting lately. So there we go. I finished off my grape shape, and I'll go back to some large scale stippling. Now when I say large scale, I mean I'm leaving intentionally an inch of space between these lines. That's 2 finger widths for me. So I try and just have that estimated space in my mind. I'm always just thinking in terms of, okay, 2 finger width, and that's going to end up a very, very soft shape. So to move on with the design, you're just going to wiggle that stippling as long as you want. And this could be, you know, if you wanted to cover lots of space on your quilt and stippling's faster for you to stitch, do a lot more stippling. And then only when you really are maybe feeling bored with stippling, go into your grape shape. So again, start with your leaf. And you could do more leaves if you wanted to. You can make that as interesting or as simple as you want. Careful travel stitching. Get my 3 circles to start with across the top. And then usually I do 2 circles kind of in between those, and then 1 circle at the bottom. It really is inspired by Trix Cereal when I think about it. This is not at all what real grapes look like, but you know, when I was a kid, that particular flavor came out, the little grape flavor came out with Trix. So it's something that, I don't know, takes me back. So there we go. That is how you're going to stitch Grapevine. Come and find my website at leahday.com and find many more videos mixing it up with a home sewing machine and a long arm. Until next time, let's go quilt.